Donnie B got the beats.
Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Donnie B, got the beats. You already know what time it is. We live on the beat. And if anybody's watching the show, you know what time it is. It's time for the glorious intro of today's guest. It goes like this. So a couple years ago, I was working with Military Fresh Network. Shout out to MFN. And, it was in Washington, D.C., back my hometown. And came back to work with them to shoot their fitness festival that they were doing, and in walks my brother, Jack Manning. Shout out to Jack Manning, and he came through to come to support because he knew somebody else from MFN, didn't even know I was there, and then it was just like, oh, okay, cool. So we got to talk, and he was like, hey, this is my sister right here, Ebonie. Okay, cool. And I was like, okay, we got to talking and chatting and stuff, kept in touch with each other. She was still in the East Coast. I was back in LA again. And then, time happened. Life happened. And then next thing you know, I look up and guess who's on TV? And this sister is like, she was already, moving mountains with the stuff that she was already doing. I mean, it was already impressive enough, but like I said, look up on TV. It's like, wow, okay. So I can't even call her Ebonie. I have to call her Dr. Ebonie now. Because so awesome. But anyway, nonetheless, I definitely want to introduce today's guest. She's a podiatrist, the co-host of TLC's My Feet Are Killing Me. And she's a beautiful Hamptonian sister of mine. You got to shout out to all the lady pirates as well as the brother pirates out there. Dr. Ebonie Vincent, how you doing?
I'm good. It's so good to see you too. It's been forever, but I feel like, this is great.
Yeah, thank you. This is the way we catch up,
Exactly. This is the way we catch up.
So, where are you at right now? You in LA or are you back on the East Coast?
I'm in LA County. I'm in Long Beach right now. So I work in Orange County, but this is a really nice community for me to just kind of work and live, So, okay. So I'm having a chill weekend this weekend, and it's good to be here.
Yeah, good. Yeah, welcome back to the coast. That cup though.
Mm-hmm.
That cup, can we bring it? Hold up, let's drop this banner.
Oh, right? It's a really nice cup. I love it.
What is it?
I know. Someone sent this to me. Her name is Brianna. She wrote a book and she sent it to me. I haven't read the book yet, but the book is called My Curls Shrink, I Do Not. So it's probably going to be a really good read. But right now I'm just sipping out, my coffee out of her beautiful mug. She has good. Her branding is on point though.
Yeah.
Like the way that she packaged everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
It's shout out to that. Yeah, send me or maybe your Instagram or something like that.
I will. I'll forward you her information because her branding is pretty dope. Like I love it. So
yeah. Awesome. But so again, like I said, welcome to the show. And thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. But it's awesome to go again. Just awesome to catch back. So let's dive into this thing, man. Let's just jump in. Who is Dr. Ebonie? Tell everybody in TV land who you are and what you're about.
Right. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm someone's daughter, someone's sister. I'm a Christian. I definitely about giving back tenfold what I receive. So that's who I am at my core. But I do have a background of being raised in California, in Temecula, And I loved every minute of that growing up as a California girl. But then most of my young adult life I spent on the East Coast where we met. So yeah, it's definitely a whirlwind, my journey. Like I kind of bounced around from the East to the Midwest to the East again. And then now I'm back home because all of my family is from here. And it's always my dream to kind of, establish myself back out here with my family. So that's who I am at my core. We can dive a little deeper with details if you'd like.
Listen, like I said, I don't push anybody, man. Whatever you care to share is totally fine. You know what I mean? But let me ask you this though. So I know you said you bounced around, split between West Coast and the East Coast. Like where specifically in the East Coast did you spend time or spend a lot of time at?
Right. Well, I spent 4 wonderful years at Hampton University, our home by the sea. And I played volleyball there for all 4 years, which was wonderful. And then after I graduated from Hampton, I went to Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. I did a master's degree there, and I did it in biomedical science with a concentration in forensics. And that was a really interesting 2 years of my life. That was when CSI was happening. So I was like, ooh, I want to be like a forensic scientist, and shadowed a pathologist and decided that is not the career for me. But it did allow me to shadow other fields of medicine. And that's when I found the field of podiatry. So after I graduated from my master's program, I went on to podiatry school. And then I went to podiatry school in Des Moines, Iowa. And I did that for 3+ years because the 4th year I was kind of bouncing around for externships. And landed a residency in New Jersey. So I was kind of like boom, boom, back and forth. And then after my residency in New Jersey, I found a place of practice out here in California. So I'm currently working in Orange County between the cities of Orange and Irvine.
Okay. Irvine, beautiful country. I was actually just out there this past Thursday working on a job. So they just reminded me.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful in Irvine.
Yeah, it is. It is. Actually, we had our first comment for the day from Joe Anderson. Shout out to the homie Joe. What up? Go Hampton, by the way. But yeah, no. Also, shout out to South Jersey, man. Because I have a ton of family that really my family's from South Jersey.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Ariel, Millville, Vineland.
Yes, that's where I worked. I was in that one. Yeah.
That out. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that the world is so small, right? Awesome though. So bouncing around now. What was it like for you growing up? And did you experience anything that was really difficult for you to transition between the spaces, or did you just kind of just navigate pretty fluidly?
I feel like my upbringing definitely prepared me for the life I'm currently leading or led in the past. I was one of the only Black kids in my class. I grew up in a pretty suburban area, so me and my brother were always the only 2 Black people in our classes and stuff. We went to private school when we were in elementary school. And then in, I guess later on in middle school, we went to public school because we moved. And it wasn't as diverse, but I feel like because we were from such a small community that there was room for growth for everyone, because it was just, everyone had nowhere else to go. We were just right there, So I had that experience growing up. And then I went to Hampton, which, HBCU, you get the chance to be immersed in your culture. And I felt like, I knew who I was, but I found so many other things about myself when I was immersed in my HBCU experience. Even certain small things like my description, back home in Temecula, it would be easy to be like, oh, Ebonie, she's the Black girl, but in Hampton, that doesn't fly. We're all Black, so it's right. She's tall, she has caramel skin, she has a big smile, she wears glasses, those little tiny descriptors kind of add so much more to your day-to-day, I guess, value. Not that you didn't value yourself to begin with, but you see what others see in you besides your Blackness,
Right.
So I think that by being immersed for 4 years into that setting, it definitely does wonders for, you know, your core as a person. Like, people care about you, not because you fit the bill for the diversity or that you're the only of, you know, your race. It's because they actually like you and they want to see you succeed and you vibe with certain people. So, I mean, I really do appreciate the HBCU experience for that, you know, specifically. But then when you go outside of your HBCU world, you have to, you know, arm yourself with, you know, what I was already brought up in, you know, like to be the only person, to be one of a few, how to kind of navigate in those areas. So kind of just being exposed at an early age to this over here, and then my HBCU experience over here kind of made it a little bit more easier to navigate what I'm currently experiencing with my career. So.
Okay. Cool. Now, touching topically, we're going to go back on the HBCUs. Could you describe what it was like for you going to an HBCU? Like, what was that like? I mean, Hampton, you know, as we both went to Hampton, it had its pluses and minuses, you know what I mean? And then I also I worked at University of Maryland. So I went from Hampton to University of Maryland. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to say it was night and day, but it was like really different.
It was. I will say, so my brother went to Morehouse, and I remember us dropping him off. I was still in high school at the time, and my mom was all excited. She was like, you can go to Spelman and you can do this. I'll have one kid in Morehouse and one kid at Spelman. And to be honest with you, it just, the scene wasn't for me. You know, I was a suburban kid, kind of like looking at all this around me. I mean, obviously there was like parties and, you know, everyone's getting dropped off at school. So it wasn't like a legitimate exposure to what what probably happened. But to me, I was just so like in awe. Like, I don't think that this is for me. I can't do it. But then when we find Hampton's like really low key. It's like by the water. It's like in the suburbs. I was like, this is more me. I can do this. So, you know, my introduction to HBCUs via my brother was an exciting experience, but one that I didn't think that I could handle, to be honest with you. But then when I went to Hampton, I literally did like just find my niche of things. And more importantly, like I knew that I wanted to be a doctor like early on. I had no idea what kind of doctor. I just knew I wanted to major in biology. I had this volleyball scholarship, and that was really hard to balance, you know. But at Hampton, it was really it wasn't easy, but it was made easier because I had advisors. I had other classmates that understood like what was going on with my schedules and stuff. And they really made it such that you weren't just by yourself. You weren't just a number in a class. You were, this is Ebonie and these are her goals. Let's see how we can help her achieve all of them, you know? Right. Like I used to have, you know, monthly meetings with my advisor who would like go over everything. Like, hey, this is where you are. This is where you need to be if this is your goal, you know, like, so we need to change some things. So it was like, it was almost like a second family that I had at Hampton trying to help me get to those goals. And I don't think that I would have had that anywhere else. I think that a lot of times kids just go to college. You're one of 200 kids in a lecture hall. And if you pass, you pass. If you fail, you fail, you know, nobody cares.
Right.
So, I mean, I really did enjoy my HBCU experience. I stayed on campus for all 4 years. I had my roommates help me. I know I had roommates that moved off campus too. So then that was really nice to have those homes to go to. And yeah, I just had a really enriching experience at Hampton, and then it continues throughout life. I mean, because like things like right now, like I meet a Hampton alum and then it's immediate family, you know, it's an immediate connection. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade my HBCU experience for the world. And I just think that you are allowed to embrace more of yourself. And so therefore you're more confident to give yourself to the world. So it's just kind of like, I appreciate it so much.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, you know, I got to ask these questions since we're talking about the U, right? So did you ever cross Agnes Circle?
You know what? I was so terrified. No, I didn't. I almost did. I was like, I don't think that this is real, but I was like, oh, but I am a little superstitious. So no, I never did. Because had anything messed me up, I would have been blaming that.
Trust me, I understand.
Did you?
I actually did. And needless to say, I still made it though. You know what I mean? So,
I feel like I did it.
You know, that's just one of those things. It's like, I mean, I guess it's a perspective on the lens we look through. You know what I mean?
Even when I graduated, I was like, I need to be in a grad school before I cross this, because don't let financial aid be calling me or somebody.
Yeah, they gonna carry the bad juju over there.
Yeah.
Joe said, my brother went to Morehouse as well. He loves the common thread.
Yes.
So,
I love it. I'm from a family of HBCUs, to be honest with you. My brother went to Morehouse. I had 2 cousins that have gone to Spelman. I have my other cousin and my aunt both went to Xavier. My uncle went to Grambling. So we're just like a whole HBCU kind of family. So
you want to know a very, very low-key thing that I learned once I left Hampton?
What?
Interestingly enough, like 3 or 4 years after I left Hampton University, 2001, I found out that my uncle was Dr. Harvey.
Dr. Harvey's your uncle? Get out of town.
And I still have yet to have a conversation with that man.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
That is so crazy. I mean, I just remember Dr. Harvey. Every day he would have lunch at the same place, and like he would come out and he would just wave, and we'd be all like, "Those are the days."
And listen, I'm gonna touch on that really quick too, but yeah, it's just like I said. I mean, to me, it's like, how do you have that question? I mean, how do you have that conversation? How do we even go back to have that conversation? You know what I mean? So it's just like,
be like, "Hey, man, did you know your uncle?"
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it was like I'd already left by that time, so it was like, all right, well, cool. That's good to know, you know. But whatever. Also, last thing about Hampton University, then we can move forward. So there are things that there was actually a small, slight list, and I just wanted to throw out there. There, you know, they said that you're not a real actual Hamptonian unless you've done these things. So, hide and go seek in either on Waterfront or in Armstrong Hall. Or
definitely not in Armstrong Hall. I was not that.
I get it, but okay. Pennies. You know, play pennies.
No,
that's cool. And, that's all I can say. That's cool. It's a weird.
I was such a goody two shoes at Hampton. Let me tell you, like when we had curfew, like we had, oh gosh, what was her name? She changed her name because she got married, Mrs. Reddick. I think her maiden name was Pryor, but she did not play. Like I would hear her in the halls, like sometimes, like just kicking people out. Like it would be like a whole thing, you know? And I remember one time only, I was like a little bit delinquent on the time. I was studying. I wasn't doing anything wrong. But she was like, you know better. You need to get them out of the room and they need to go back to their dorms. So after that experience, I was traumatized. I was like, I'm out by 5 was a thing. You know, everyone was like, you make the rules. You will be out by 5. We don't care how you're doing. They'll call your parents to come get you at the airport, you know? And I was like, okay, I guess I'll study and do nothing.
So what if you don't mind me asking, what dorm did you stay in with her?
I stayed in McGrew Towers for most of it, and then I know. And then you know what? I stayed in Queens. I stayed in Queens Tower, and it's no more. It's sad.
Yeah. I actually went the last time. Well, I'm about due. It's been since about as long as I've been in LA that I've been back. I haven't been back to Hampton since I've been in LA.
Really? I went to homecoming. Well, right before the pandemic, I went to homecoming, October 2019.
Okay. Yeah. And let's see. So pennies, hide go seek. You had to have had a big brother or a big sister.
Definitely.
Vice versa. And then what was the last one? Oh, see, this probably wouldn't apply to you, but you had to have a sweat box at the union.
No, I didn't have.
Yeah, the union. When I came in was the last year of the union.
Oh,
So, the union jams. Anybody that's old school Hamptonians, man, listen, changed my life forever. That's all I'm saying to you.
Wow. It was a bomb place, though. I really miss it. It was great.
Yeah, the times were great, but we celebrate you. So back to you. How did you get into the medical field?
Well, I always, like I said, wanted to be a physician. I was always heavily involved in sports. So naturally, I kind of went towards, I want to do sports medicine. That was kind of the ticket. And so orthopedics was something that I guess was introduced to personally because I had 2 torn ACLs. I was always visiting my orthopedics. So I was like, maybe I should just do orthopedics, right? So I graduate from Hampton and I'm in my master's degree at PCOM, or Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. And I shadowed an orthopedic physician. And, I just didn't think that I could build a life around that career. The hours were a lot of the times, like you're shadowing a male who probably has a family, maybe not, I don't know, but their priorities were definitely the career and not like the whole lifestyle. And so that kind of turned me off a little bit to the profession because I definitely want to be well-rounded. Like I wanted to have a career in which I was very, very important and doing like the things that I was trained to do. But I also, aspire to have a husband and kids and, be able to do that kind of thing as well. And I just didn't kind of see it with orthopedics. And so I had a time where I was just really confused as to what I wanted to do. Like I was thinking maybe I'll do just research. Maybe I'll just do a PhD in kinesiology. Maybe I'll do a Doctor of Physical Therapy. Maybe I'll do, anything that will help me be able to balance life. Right. And so, my aunt actually, she works in the emergency medicine department as an ER doctor. And she was like, why don't you look into the field of podiatry? She was like, ortho and podiatry share a call at my hospital. And it's like every time I have to call podiatry, they come down and they're just so happy and they look like they have happy lives. And there's women in podiatry. She was like, look into it. And so, I went to an informational meeting over a weekend in New York City. And I saw women doing this profession. I saw them having children and husbands and other little entrepreneurial things outside of, podiatry that they were excited about. So, and I was sold on it. And then I shadowed and there was this whole big sports medicine component to it. There's the surgical aspect of it. And I was just done. I know what I want to do. So the guy I shadowed, he was doing all kinds of things from, foot reconstruction to trauma, to dealing with diabetics. So there was just so much of a variety of things that you can do, even though it is very focused on the foot and ankle. So that's kind of how I found the field of podiatry. Had I not been able to have that gap, the 2 years of my master's program to actually figure it out, I'm not sure if I would have ever even found it. I would have probably just been nose to the ground, I'm going to be an orthopedic. And then I would have probably been good at it, but I don't know if I would have been super happy,
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. No, but it's awesome because, it's almost like you were double rewarded because it's okay, you found the path that it was comfortable for you. You get to check all of the boxes that you wanted. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, hey, I'm on TV too, I know. So it's awesome, you know what I mean? So speaking of which, how did you get into the entertainment industry?
So that kind of happened by just, when preparation meets opportunity kind of thing. It's literally the sum of the story. But essentially during residency, I don't know, I had quite a residency journey. It was long and hard. And I started doing my Instagram page as an outlet for myself. I was alone a lot. I was doing all this on-call stuff by myself. I was always just needing an outlet. And so I started off my Instagram page being a online journal. This is what I did today, if anybody cares. Maybe this will help you in your health. I don't know. And so once I started like doing that, my Instagram following grew a lot. I was getting a lot more traction, and people were like, yo, this information needs to be like spread like wildly, you know?
Right.
And so fast forward to when I finally graduated from residency, I went into private practice and kind of capitalized on, you know, what I was doing on Instagram to help get my patients in the door. Like, hey, this is who I am. I can be your doctor. We can go through your issues together. This is my knowledge base. And then, you know, I'm a caring person who actually cares to make you better, you know? And I guess I want to say like probably less than 3 months in, I was approached to be like on the doctor's TV show. And by a friend who was a producer. She was like, yo, you have really good, you know, foot tips, and we need someone to do this. So, I mean, I started getting like approached to do like little TV things here and there. And then my office manager kept getting these emails about this show that they wanted me to interview for doing this show. And I was like, nobody's making a whole show about feet. Like, this is ridiculous. And like, you know, delete it. So the third or fourth time they emailed, she was like, maybe you should just look into this, because if it's something that can really help like catapult the practice even faster than it's already growing. And if it's, you know, spam, we'll just delete it again. That's fine. So I interview on Skype with these people, and it turned out to be really legit. Like the same people who produced like Naked and Afraid and sometimes the American Idol and stuff. They were the same people. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So they decided to come down and like follow me around with all their cameras and stuff for about a week, just kind of looking at my office visits and a couple of surgeries and stuff that I had. And apparently they were doing this with a lot of podiatrists around the country. So they were like, you know, we're gonna shop this, see which networks pick it up, and it could be you as a doctor, it could be somebody else, could be a combination, or we don't know who we're going with, you know. Right. And so that, I guess they filmed me in like October, and then I just didn't hear from them. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not me. Right. And then sometime, I want to say in December or early January, they were like, you and another doctor are going to be on this show. Like, how are you ready? Because it's going to catapult your life like in a totally different trajectory than what you ever thought imaginable. Are you ready? I was like, yeah, I'm ready for whatever life has to offer. Like, God has just brought me this far. Who am I to say no to his blessings, you know? So that's kind of how that started. And honestly, like my practice and the show kind of grew together. Like I started the practice way before the show, but you know, with the notoriety of the show, you know, my practice has grown exponentially, and I couldn't be more blessed to have, you know, everything going on at the same time. So that's kind of how I got in. So
okay. All right. Well, listen. Well, let me ask you this, because now that you've scratched the surface on that, right, on the entertainment industry, would you embrace switching all the way over and just being like, you know, like an actress and, you know, just taking up in that light?
What's funny is that people already think I'm an actress, so probably wouldn't be that hard of a switch. Like if you Google, it says Dr. Ebonie Vincent, actress, and I'm like, really?
Right? Like
I've spent 13 years becoming an actress, but whatever. I don't know. I'm very prideful in the work that I have put in to become a doctor. So I would to respect myself, I guess, if I was to do like a totally career change, I would want to put in the work to become an actress. You know, I have never taken an acting class. I'm plenty dramatic, but I'm not sure about the acting skills. But but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I would like to dibble dabble in it, see what that's like. But yeah, and if it happens to be something that I'm actually naturally talented at, something that I can grow from, then sure. But I don't know if I would completely just stop medicine altogether. I really do enjoy the work of what I do, you know. Obviously it does come with a lot of stress. and lots of hard work. So I'm definitely down for that. But I've always been someone who's interested in the arts. So yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Good to know. I got some very well-known friends in the entertainment business, so maybe that, that part. So we have another Hamptonian on the line. He says, "This is Devon Oakley. Shout out to my Hampton brother, my lowdown brother. What's up, Donnie and Dr. Eb? My wife used to hate all feet, but after watching every episode of MFAKM, if that's a thing, she's been desensitized and now can touch my feet. Shout out to Dr. Tanisha Grimes. She's a true fan of yours."
Oh, Dr. Tanisha. I think I follow her on Instagram. I think so. Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah. MFAKM stands for My Feet Are Killing Me.
I'm not big on the anagrams or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though. I mean, I feel like the show definitely it's bringing to light the issues of people's feet, because I feel like for so long feet have been like so stigmatized, like ew, stinky feet, like that's disgusting. Like they don't realize that when you're in the medical field, period, you're dealing with sick people, and sicknesses are gross. You're not going to be in this profession if all you want to do is like look at pretty things, because that is not what this is for, Right. So when people talk about the feet, like even other physicians, they're like, "Oh, I would never touch feet." And you're like, "But you can touch like someone's private areas. You can deal with all these orifices and drainage and cysts, and you can do all of that. But the feet are what takes you out, huh?" But I think that the show brings to light a lot of the shock value of what could possibly happen. So the large majority of the people will have smaller issues that they might have been embarrassed about at first, which now they're not embarrassed about, because they're like, "At least my feet don't look like that."
Indeed. And I have to admit, I have a thing with feet myself. It's just like, like even mine. I'm like, I try to take care of them. You take care of your feet because they take you places. So
exactly
that part. Joe Anderson again. That's another. He's been up and down the timeline, but he responded. He said, "Have to step out, get back to work. Actually, on music for shows like yours." Okay. Oh, look at that guy. Proud of you. Cali, the HU love and support. That's my force brother right there. I gotta love the support. Stand up. Good grief. So my feet are killing me. Let's talk about that though. What is that like for you? I mean, I know you already dabbled in and touched on how it's affecting your life to an extent, and how you got started in it. But like, as far as like the whole idea of my feet are killing me. I mean, is there ways you want to see it go? If you can, if you have producers,
right? I think that we definitely grew. The production team and the doctors were all still growing together to kind of create this show. And even certain patients, like the first time we did a diabetic patient, and I was trying to explain to them this is a very risky kind of case. Like if you want to show what can happen to a diabetic patient, you have to understand that you have to be willing to follow it all. If this end result is a terrible amputation below the knee, then that's just what it's going to be. And it's not a happy story, but it's very realistic. So, the science where the art meets with the production is definitely something that's growing. So I personally would like to see more behind the scenes of recovery from surgery. I think that the initial episodes have been terrible foot, long grueling surgery, amazing foot, happy patient, Right. And it's kind of giving a lot of people the great hope and great feelings and stuff, but it's a little less of the reality portion. These people who undergo surgery go through a recovery period. So I think that it would be very interesting to show like what people go through, like the stages of recovery, because even in real life, when I'm doing surgery, I'm like, listen, you're not going to come in your first visit and be like, oh, look at my foot, you're going to come in and your foot's going to look like Frankenstein foot with all those sutures in it. It's going to be swollen. You're going to be in pain. Like, these are things that all happen. So I don't know. I think that I would want to see just us showing a little bit more of the process of healing,
Right.
And that would be interesting, but I don't know how much people can handle seeing that, because that's not the pretty part. But yeah, I mean, I hope our show gets many, many, many more seasons. I think that it's definitely inspiring for a lot of people, and it's presenting a lot of knowledge to people. So I hope for the best for our show,
Good, and so do I. I hope for just whatever's best. Like it's good to see you thriving and doing well, and you know what I mean. Like it's awesome. So I wish that you guys take it as far as you can take it. You know what I mean?
Of course. So ride it till the wheels fall off.
Indeed. Joshua. Oh, hey, best friend. I found you.
Hi, Cree. That's my best friend.
That's support what I'm talking about. I wish my best friends would watch this joint. Actually, my best friend, we have 2 Flew West, so my best friend does support me. So yeah, whatever. Let me ask you this too, with regard to My Feet Are Killing Me. Just the production aspect of it. Do you even pay attention to it on the production aspect, or are you just really focused and ingrained on like your aspect in totality of the show?
I'm not too focused on the production side of it. They kind of have that down now, like a well-oiled machine. I think in the beginning, when we first started filming, there were certain production decisions to cut and paste or splice certain things together. And I was like, that doesn't really make medical sense. Like, I don't know if you want to be, I don't want to be presented like I don't know what I'm talking about. So probably don't push these things together. Right. But now they'll just call for clarification now. If they're like, okay, does this make sense? And I'm like, yes, or maybe word it like this instead, so I'm not super concerned about the production side anymore. I just I don't do anything differently on the show than I would in real life. I definitely take all the precautions to keep my patients safe and try and make for the best possible outcome. But yeah, I mean, the reality portion is that people who have foot issues, they're already coming to you broken, like a little bit, just not healthy, not, in a great position. So it's my job. My job is to just not make you worse. My job is to make you feel better. Sometimes it doesn't even look better. It just makes the person feel better. Because a lot of times the pain is not something you can see on the surface. It's inside. It's with X-rays, with the MRIs, So that I'm working for the patient, not to make it look nice, but feel bad,
Right. Now, what's funny? We actually have a video of you. I believe it's how to prepare for washing your hands and prep for surgery.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that so people can actually see what it is. And yes, she is an actual doctor, so we want to clarify that. So check this out.
All right, so hi, I'm Dr. Ebonie, and today I'm going to show you guys how we scrub for surgeries. Yay! All right, so this is my little scrub brush here. And you just have to make sure everything remains sterile. There's a little pick here that you can go underneath your nails, and that's nice. My nails are always generally pretty clean, so if your nails are dirty, this guy is pretty handy for you to like get through them pretty quickly first. All right. Then we go ahead and get wet. And we can go ahead and scrub. All right, kind of lather up. And then using the brush on the bristle side, this good side, you start off scrubbing the nails. And you want to pretty much count to 10 slowly for each portion of the hand that you're going to be scrubbing. And still using the brush, we go on each area of the fingers. It does take quite a long time. But this ensures that everybody is clean and sterile and no germs or infection get into the patient's body part, and also it just makes sure that everything remains sterile. Okay, same thing, you kind of go on each area of the hand, right, left and then right, left and then right. So you want to never have to go back to the tips of the fingers when you're scrubbing. So these are the cleanest portion of your body. And then you get the palms. Same here. And then you start to use this side of the brush so it's nice and softer on your skin a little bit. Then you kind of go down to the wrist. Get at each side of your arm here. There's no germs at all. And then the last portion is all the way to the elbow. Okay, and then you're done. And then you just have to make sure all the suds are coming off of you. Sometimes this water is temperamental. Okay, and then we're done.
You know what's funny about that? People need to do that now because of the pandemic.
I was gonna say, yeah. You will not get COVID if you scrub every time like that. It does take a long time, but that, I mean, post-op infections happen, and you know, it won't be because I didn't clean my hands. You know, it's usually people don't keep their dressings intact, they get it wet, you know, but things happen. We try to prevent them from happening.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, again, thank you for sharing, because we live in such a visual world now with YouTube and all of these other things, and people are naturally curious, and these types of things help to quell the misconceptions, right? Like, it's like, this is what it is actually, instead of what you're being fed, right?
Right.
So, which leads me to my last question before we go into some more questions is so how do you feel about stuff like ER or Grey's Anatomy and so forth and so on, since you're in the field?
Right. I used to be such a huge Grey's Anatomy buff. Just like, I was more in it for the drama and the elevator romances than the actual medicine portion. But once I got knee deep into studying medicine, I found myself kind of like drifting away from those shows, not because they weren't good anymore or they weren't accurate. It was because, you know, it's just too overwhelming. Like, you know, the sciences, it's not, you don't want to watch something that you do every day, you know? But no, I started drifting away a little bit from Grey's Anatomy when someone tried to treat a deer that they hit in one of the episodes. I was like, if they don't bring this deer to the vet or just call like, they're not going to treat deer. We didn't take deer anatomy, you know, but
right.
But no, I do like those shows. I think that they do provide a window for the general population of what it's like. I think it's definitely embellished because I never had an elevator romance. I don't know what residency program that they were at, but
right.
they have a lot of time on their hands. But
and Grey specifically has a lot of elevators or something. So, you know, that's always my thing. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But so current aspirations and projects. What are you currently working on? Or do you have any aspirations, or what's next for Dr. Ebonie?
Well, you know, I think there's so many things at the surface. So right now, immediately, I want to try and get more into public speaking. I've been doing a lot of public speaking in between the show, and then even before the show started. Like most recently, I've been doing like white coat ceremonies, and I've been back to my alma mater, DMU, a few times to just speak with on topics such as, you know, residency, race, being a woman, like in the medical field and things of that nature. So I definitely want to get more heavily involved in the public speaking realm. And kind of just, I've been kind of throwing around ideas of what I want to do in terms of continuing to have media presence. I do want to kind of cover topics that are feel good topics, you know, people doing good for other people kind of thing. So that's something that I am working on. And yeah, I don't know what else. I think that, you know, I'm busy enough as it is, but those are the current things right now.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I think you should. I mean, you're exceptionally articulate, which is awesome. I think that would be definitely a good lane for you.
Yeah.
But speaking of topics, we are in my favorite segment of the show called Hot Topics, and I gotta ask you some hot topic questions. How about that?
Go for it.
All right. So if you don't know, again, this is just for anybody who has watched or who has not watched Hot Topics, or a series of questions that are designed to get for the viewer to get to know more about you through random-based questioning. And you know, I decided to take it light on you. I wasn't going to bombard you with like 5 to 7 or 8 or 10 of them, but we're gonna just throw these out there really quick. So 3 things you don't know. This is a common one. What are 3 things that the world doesn't know about Dr. Ebonie that you care to share, and or 3 things that you'd like to clarify that the world may have an opinion of, or people have told you about that you would like to clarify?
I don't know about anybody's opinions that I need to clarify, but I don't think everyone knows that I'm a huge like Broadway buff. I have watched literally almost every play on Broadway. I will go for broke trying to get to plays. Like I spent like all my residency money trying to see Hamilton. But yeah, no, I feel like I live my life vicariously like a musical. You know how like in Insecure, like Issa Rae's like rapping to herself in the mirror. Like I'm more like I sing Broadway musicals in my head every day. It's all very dramatic in my brain. So yeah, I think that people don't know that about me. What else? Oh, I ski. People probably don't know that I'm a really avid skier. I don't like the cold, but I like winter sports. Is that weird? You know?
Not really. I feel you.
And like get the heck inside, you know? What else? I think that's 2 things people don't know about me.
Right.
And I guess everyone knows everything else. Like I'm a huge dog lover. I work out all the time. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I give you a 3rd. That's sad.
Well, no, I mean, effectively you did. You know what I mean? It's just that, you know, the world that may not have known that you're, you know, you're in fitness or you have, you know, you're a dog lover. So yeah, that's 3. I'll accept those.
Okay.
and by all accounts too, I love the snow too. But like you, I don't like the just it's just everything that comes with it. Yeah, cold, you know, the sneezing with the runny nose, and you know,
it's like the snow. Let's play in it for a while until my body starts to fail in the cold.
Yeah, then we gotta get out of there.
Gotta get the heck out.
Yeah. Hey, I moved to California, so I'm just like, bro, I'm done. Netflix, what's on your visual playlist?
Okay, so Bridgerton, definitely loved Bridgerton. This past weekend though, I've been all about Hulu. I've been about watching. I saw The United States versus Billie Holiday. I haven't seen that movie. That's an excellent film. Like excellent. And then I did like a throwback. I watched Malcolm X with Denzel Washington just because I like that movie. And then I'm gonna watch Disney Plus because Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Brandy is on there. And that was like literally my childhood. I probably know every single word to every single song, and I'm gonna have a great time tonight just singing and watching it by myself with a glass of wine. That's just what I plan to do.
Nothing wrong with it. You know what they say, if you know somebody's got to do it, might as well be you.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Me singing Cinderella.
Indeed. So, let me ask you this really quickly: have you seen like Judas and the Black Messiah?
You know what? I haven't finished it because I started watching it during a weekday when I knew I going to be working the next day. I have to finish it, but I've listened to several podcasts on it and I'm super excited to finish watching it.
Okay. American Skin?
What'd you say?
American Skin?
American Skin? No, I haven't seen that either. Is that on Netflix?
Ooh, no.
Where's
I believe it's on Amazon Prime, I believe. But yeah, that
Amazon Prime too. I'm going to check that out. American Skin. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like the movie that you need to see. You know, like if
Yep.
Yeah, it's the movie to see.
I have to see that then. Okay.
Yeah. Antebellum?
I started watching Antebellum yesterday, but I didn't finish. I always be starting movies and then can't finish them. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm going to watch it and then have to go do something. And I'm like, okay.
I believe we've arrived at that point. If anybody has any issues, it's like this woman is busy. Like,
I did start watching it though. It was good in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and my last question with that. Bachelor, Matt James. What are your thoughts? I knew you would watch it. I was like, come on now. This is
okay. I had stopped watching The Bachelor since they started getting like, this is gonna sound bad, but they started off with literally like royalty, and I was like, it makes sense for 20 women to kind of fight over this royalty man, because the price of your integrity, I guess, is you get to marry a prince. Maybe that's worth it. I don't know. Right. And then they started just getting like regular people with like regular. I was like, you did that like by yourself without having to tenaciously fight with 20 other women for this man. So anyway, the premise of The Bachelor I wasn't all too excited about, but I did watch this one because it was the first Black Bachelor or whatever.
Yeah, cool.
And my issue is, I just feel like there was no like cultural Blackness about it. I don't know if there was anything that I recognized as being specifically Black about it. They found the most palatable person possible. And it was very reminiscent of other seasons we had in the past, but in the forefront, because he's Black, was more stereotypes, more obvious, just racism. Obviously he picked the girl who went to the antebellum party and was liking pictures of Confederate flags. Like I just don't see how that's a good representation of the first Black Bachelor. I feel bad for the guy. I don't know, maybe he was confused. Maybe the producers should have done a little bit better of a vetting job for him, because I feel like when you're in that position, like he can only do so much.
Right.
I don't know. It was rough to watch, though. I don't know. It was rough. I was like, oh, he's gonna pick this girl after everything. No.
I know when he took her on that shopping spree, I was like, oh, it's over.
I didn't even see that episode, to be honest with you. I saw the next one afterwards, and I was like, poor guy. I don't know what else to say about it. But I would like to see more, something what I would identify as culturally Black if they're going to do a Black Bachelor. Like, I don't know. Well, I guess COVID kind of prevented a lot of things. They had to like do it in a very interesting way. But yeah, I just felt like nothing that I would recognize was highlighted, I don't know. How did you feel about it?
No, I mean, we're going to on everything. It was literally, to me, it was just like, you know what I mean? It was just like this guy. I mean, again, like you said, very palatable, very articulate. He had some things about him though that kind of rubbed my rhubarb the wrong way. I was like, but hey, he's a bachelor and everybody loves him, so great. But I think it was just like you said. I felt it was unfortunate at the end to get all of that information about Rachel and
they should have vetted literally everyone for this specifically. I mostly would blame the producers. Like, who casted this girl?
Right.
Like, you have to know these kinds of things are racist, and you can't get around that.
Yeah, no. I mean, and then there was that, and then there was the whole I forgot the young lady who was just all over the place in there, and then the other young lady that was, it was like everybody was at everybody's neck. Real, it was just entirely too much. It was I was suffocating watching it.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of the times they implant one girl to stir the pot,
right.
and they keep her on for way too long because then the damage is done.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a lot this season to be desired, I think, in terms of what I was expecting.
Right.
Yeah, it ended way worse than I thought it would, unfortunately.
Yeah, but there's next season.
Okay, well.
But I feel you.
Yeah.
My playlist popping. Like, what's in your audio playlist? And do you use like music to like get you prep for when you're about to do surgery and so forth?
Yeah, I'm a very eclectic person. Like this morning, I woke up and I was like, I'm in a really kind of soca mood. I just like put on like soca music and just dancing and stuff. But my go-to generally is just kind of like easygoing music. I love Summer Walker. I love Daniel Caesar. Those kind of genres really just kind of relax me. I do that pretty much consistently, like every day. But for surgery, I'm all about like 90s hip hop and R&B. Like that just soothes my soul. It makes me feel good. And I feel good. So we're all just grooving together. Like
okay.
But I do love a good Broadway musical. I do love opera sometimes and jazz. Like it depends on my mood,
Right. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to picture you like get on your feet but throw the Wu-Tang on. Like hilarious. But nah, that's awesome. That's dope. That's dope. Seriously. So you made it through hot topics. How are you on time? Because I know we kind of pushing the envelope here, and I just wanted to see if you have a little bit more time.
It's Sunday. I've got nothing to do. I got brunch happening in like a couple hours, but I'm good.
Okay, cool. So then I have let's see, what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more questions to go through. Then I just didn't know if we needed to truncate or not. But here we go. Politics as usual. What is your thoughts on all of the stuff that has transpired over the past year politically? I mean, up through the transition of power at the top, and where we are right now. What are your thoughts?
Oh, there's a lot of thoughts I had. I feel like the past year has been really traumatic for everybody. I think I started off the year of 2020 trying to be as positive as possible. And then as positive as I am, I started to get a little like, oh gosh, things are looking bad. Things are getting worse. And I think the root of the issue is there was misinformation, non-truths, and then conspiracy theories all combined that have just caused this incredible frenzy and division within our country and within everything. Just speaking as a physician, I see so many people a day. Like I can go from someone who's like, this is a conspiracy, this is not a real virus, like wearing masks are very stupid, and I think that people are all sheep and we need to like stop everything, to people who are literally afraid to come in to the doctor's appointment. They're wearing gloves and masks and all this stuff. And they're just like, how long do I have to wait in this waiting room? Because I don't want to catch this virus. It's interesting to see the differences of how people are receiving the information and their actions towards it. And when you have that big of a division of thoughts and actions, it's really bad wherever we're getting the source of our information. There's no uniformity in that, because there's no reason, if we're in a global pandemic, the world is experiencing this thing, that we should be as divided as we are. There should be some type of like uniform. So first of all, with that said, I think that the leadership definitely missed the mark. Regardless of what your political affiliations are, it missed the mark in conveying the information that people needed to digest and then act accordingly. I think it was very like laissez-faire, like let the people decide. Like the people are not smart on things that they don't know about. Like you can't be making decisions based off of no information or conspiracy theory. You're just making stuff up. So I think that was the biggest thing. Like, where are you getting your information from? And is this accurate information? Like, why is there so much of a division on what's going on? But I will say this, I think COVID-19 is real. There are several people who have passed, and I would hate to think that there's been so much death without a cause, such as the pandemic. So I think that is fact. I think now that we're kind of coming out of this a little bit, now the hot topic is the vaccination. Should we trust it? Should we get it? There's a lot of people who are just like, not getting this vaccine because I know what happened in the past. I'm not going to be a test dummy, and all are very true feelings. But here's the thing. You have two options. Get COVID. Hopefully you recover, and hopefully you won't suffer any of the aftermath like they are experiencing, like blood clots, heart problems, death unexpectedly. Or you get the vaccine and you definitely won't die if you get COVID, but we are still in the situation where we don't know what happens 2, 3, 4 years from now from getting the vaccine. So It's kind of a double-edged sword. I chose to get the vaccine. I trust the science. I'm not a, virologist or anything like that, but I did take a virology class, and it makes a lot more sense to get vaccinated than to not. And thus far, nobody has been experiencing very horrible deaths or anything like that from the vaccine. I think those kinds of articles are misinformation too. Like people who associate deaths with the vaccine are obviously some underlying condition that was just, happenstance to happen after they got the vaccine. So I know that there's a huge thing, especially in the Black community, of not wanting to get the vaccination based off of, government conspiracy theories, the government actually doing bad, horrible things to African Americans in the past. And I'm right there with you. But in the same vein, now it's a thing where we just need to have access to it. If you can get it, you should.
Okay. Maybe you care, maybe you don't care about my thoughts. Here's my thing. I totally agree, and I love the way that you articulated everything. Because again, hearing it from somebody in the medical community, especially that can convey it in such a way that you did, it helps to kind of quiet the noise, so to speak. A person such as myself, though, well, I can't speak for anybody. I have to speak for myself. Me, like, I don't want it. I'm not getting it. I'm not. Because I choose not to get it because I'm more of a binary thinker, right? Ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros. And my thought process is, being in that I'm in the IT industry. As I've said before in previous interviews, I look at it from a perspective of rolling out a new software or operating system in an environment. If it's not tested, if it's not fully regulated or rated, and even if it's usually the first generation of this operating system has flaws. It just does. And to me, that's just how I think. So I don't want to say that anything that and that's not me saying anything that you're saying is incorrect. I feel that if it's not, I just want to give it more time to see exactly where we go with it.
Right. A lot of people feel that way, and I don't think that that's wrong. I think that, if that's how your process of thought is, and that's fine. But the thing is, with a global pandemic, like, we have to have a way to regulate it, So right. Obviously, like, the goal is the same. We need herd immunity. Whether we all get the virus and then have antibodies towards it, yay, herd immunity, or if we all get vaccinated and then develop a resistance to it, yay, herd immunity. Like, if there's a combination of both, then the folks that choose not to get vaccinated will be protected either way, because you're not going to get it from me because I probably don't have it and I probably won't shed it.
Right.
Or you probably won't get it from somebody who's already had COVID because they already have antibodies towards it and they're not shedding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not a matter of like everybody needs to get vaccinated. We need the majority of people to get vaccinated, and then the majority other people who have already contracted it have developed antibodies already. So we can just decrease the number So that's people who they're more susceptible to it, like people with comorbidities, they don't get it and then they don't die. Like I took it because, I mean, if I contracted COVID, I would probably be fine, right? But I have a 91-year-old grandma. I have a 93-year-old grandfather. I see them all the time. Like I take care of them sometimes as their doctor, right? Majority of my patients are elderly. So I don't want someone dying because I had COVID, didn't know it, and then they contracted it, you know? So like as a healthcare professional, someone who sees at least 27 patients or people a day, like I feel as though it's my responsibility to protect others, right? And if the only way that I can do that is to get vaccinated, then I should, because the other alternative is I could potentially be an asymptomatic carrier. I could infect a bunch of people and it is my fault, you know?
Right.
But if you're like, you know, I'm isolated, I don't see people, I am not contagious, I'm good to go, then sure. I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten it if I wasn't a healthcare professional. I probably considered waiting, but you know, in this situation, I didn't have an option. I felt as though I didn't have the option, you know, in order to keep other people safe.
Right. And you know what's funny about that? I think that the conversation is so the verbiage lends it to be a lot more diluted of a entryway to a great or gateway to a bigger conversation. Whereas I totally understand your perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's just one of those things. It's the way, of course, especially if you're in the industry and you're in the profession, and like you said, and you know, and that's just professionally. But like you said, personally, you have people that you just don't want to affect, and you want to protect that. And I'm the same way, and I feel you. You know, I have people I want to protect and make sure that they don't get it. And I definitely resonate with you with what you're saying. I just look at it from a perspective of too that if I don't know, it's kind of like weird because I feel like I'm contradicting myself now. But
it's a process. I feel like you will wake up tomorrow probably having learned a little bit more, and then your thought process could change. And that's the thing about a global pandemic. We've never experienced this before. This is so weird. We're like learning new things every day. So it's not a crime to change your thought process or your opinions based off of what you learned. So you know, it's kind of an evolution of things. So
last question on the COVID thing. What do you have to say as a medical professional, bona fide medical professional, to those that are naysayers that say that COVID is a hoax or, you know, it's a conspiracy theory?
I would say, where's your evidence? Where's your evidence of if it's a hoax? Like, I don't know. I just don't see how so many people could die. Like, what is the theory behind it? You know, like I'd be interested to figure that one out. I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracy theories this year going around, and I just hesitate to even kind of go down that rabbit hole because there's so much science behind what's been going on, and even that information has been rolled out terribly. Right. That I can't see a conspiracy theory being that concrete to believe it, you know? Right. So I don't know. I look at the evidence, I look at the facts, and you know, if you're looking at the science of it all, then I just don't see how you could believe that it's all a hoax. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, makes total sense. Makes total sense. And thank you for your response. And it means a lot. It does. So 3 more questions. We out, like I said. Okay. Do you feel that you have paved the way for young African Americans with all that you have done and have accomplished?
Probably not every African American, but maybe somebody who wants to embark upon a field in medicine, maybe somebody who, you know, wants to maybe be on TV treating patients. But yeah, I think representation definitely matters. I realize that I am blessed to be in this position of being a physician on TV, just kind of depicting what it is to me, what I represent to be a good doctor. So yeah, I think that it's definitely an inspiration to see. This little girl, her mom reached out to me and said her daughter, for her 3rd grade presentation, it's a living history museum, wanted to be me. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. So that certain things like that, like really touched my heart and like really make me understand like what an impact I do have on certain people. And it's wonderful. Like I couldn't be more humbled by the situation. So yeah.
Okay. And I guess this is a segue question based off of what you your response to this question. How do you feel? Because I think you're handling it in a very dope way. To be able to have the platform kind of just grow right in front of you, and it's not at no point in time does it feel like you went and searched it out. Even I can say I searched for what I'm trying to accomplish, right? You know what I mean? And I groomed and patterned myself and positioned myself as best I could in order to even marginally get to this place where I can have a platform like the Beat, right? Or the Blue Vessel. But to have it kind of just bloom,
like on a platter, right?
Yeah, right. But to, like you said, to be put in that position of celebrity, because that's essentially what it is. What's your takeaway from that? To have traversed that wall, to be on this side of it and say, wow, people do actually look up to you and tell you that, and know that your moves are, and people are watching you. You know what I mean? And studying you, or or trying to be like you, or emulate you, or so forth and so on. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I feel like this opportunity, the opportunity that I was given, I got it because I am a completely genuine person, and I, didn't try to be somebody that I'm not. I think that I've always been like that, like just kind of true to what makes me feel good and what others can benefit. And I think somebody saw that and was like, this is something that needs to be shared. And so I think that if I was trying for it, then it probably wouldn't have come, I think that I've always just been placed in positions where I can bless other people. And that's consistently happened in my whole life. And I feel like that's why I'm just consistent with who I am. Like if I were trying to be in television, I don't know if it would have happened. But now that I am, I think that I'm able to take it, not take it lightly, but definitely just proceed in the same vein in which I've always done, because that's what got me to this point. I'm not putting on, I'm not trying too hard or anything. It's just, it is what it is. And if it's not enough, then I can't help you.
That's the best way to put it. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, at least for me, it's been, it's one of those things as to where it's like the closer I have evolved to become who I am as a person, and found stability and being comfortable with who I am in my own skin, the more I've been able to resonate out for because I don't care what anybody thinks now. It's just like, at the end of the day, this is my art and this is what I do. And
right.
That's that.
If it serves you, awesome. If it doesn't, whatever. Like
facts. So what is your advice for aspiring talent? Young people that are coming up, that are aspiring to be like you, aspiring to be in the same position as you, or, like you said, or like was said, medically, in the medical field, or in the entertainment field, or just anything above, or even to the point of social media, using social media as a springboard, because that's the thing now,
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
My advice would just be to do the work, like you have to find your passion, do the work on being the best at what you're gonna be, and then come from a genuine place. Like when I started doing like my Instagram and things of that nature, I was literally just sharing my thought for the day. There was nothing calculated about it. I think that's the stick, though. You don't have to find a niche. You just kind of create one based off of your own individuality. And
Right.
I think that people recognize genuineness. It's like real recognize real. Like that's a thing. So I think that my advice would just be to do the work, be passionate about it, and be honest in sharing your story. You can share the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, and people will relate and it will resonate with certain people. And then you'll look up one day and maybe it'll be something that people would want to see on a TV show. You know?
That part. Okay. Now let me ask you this. With regard to that, and again, like I said, having traversed the world, having been, gone through, I'm sure, ups and downs and, the whole roller coaster gambit of it, have you encountered at any point in time, and you don't have to disclose like the details of maybe one situation or multiple situations, but have you encountered like naysayers or people that have kind of seemingly went against the grain of this natural climb for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're always going to have people who are like not on your side, like haters and stuff like that. But I feel like that's just their personalities. If they're not here for the glow up, then they weren't going to be here regardless of whatever you were doing. There was a time in which I was really nervous, like before the show started, like the premiere and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's me and one other doctor on this show. We're both young. We're both like, representing this field of podiatry, which has been around for ages. Like, how is it that they saw us and we're like, you guys are it, There was that imposter syndrome going on,
Mm-hmm.
And, I thought about it and I was just like, you know what? I did the training. I've done the work. I do the work on a daily basis. Like, why not me? Like, why should I give this position or say that someone else is more deserving of this position than I am,
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's something that I had to kind of get over, that people aren't going to be in your corner. But at the same time, there's so many more people that are. And you just kind of have to feed off of that energy, because the haters don't pay your bills anyway. Like, what are they going to do for you besides hurt your feelings,
It's funny that you say that, because I know actually in the last interview I shared, because the young lady Cole Renee, shout out Cole Renee, she said my story kind of resonated with her, and she saw similarities because of dealing with shyness and so forth and so on, and then learning how to break and shed that skin, right? And I told her, I was like, I eventually got to a point where as a performer, someone that can get in front of people and share my craft or share my art, I had to get to a mindset, and my mantra is I kill giants, period. I'll stand in front of giants and
slay them,
knock them down. But that was built through exactly something that you had just said, is that you have to be able to hold yourself accountable, but be who you are, be genuine, and see why not me, instead of looking for reasons to say why I would fail. Look for reasons as to why not me.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got to that place, it was just easy. Like it was just like eureka. I woke up, I like rolled out of bed on the right side of the bed or something, and I'm just like, okay, I got it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, I think it's awesome. I mean, that's definitely. I'm saying all of to say is that I totally vibe with what you're saying, and every it's just, it really is kind of like a eureka kind of moment. And did you have like the eureka kind of moment, or that's something you always just kind of knew?
I feel like it happened so fast and it was so exciting that I didn't stop to think about any of it until like literally the night before the premiere. So yeah, no, it wasn't a eureka moment. It was more so like there was like scuttlebutt happening before, there was like, some people that were in the profession that wanted to have like a conversation, like they wanted to see if they could be involved somehow with the production side of it to make sure that our profession was being presented in the best light. They wanted to know like what my skills were, or my aspirations for the show or something. It was just kind of like they were excited but treating it like with a level of skepticism, and I just was like, okay, so why are you skeptical? Like if it was you, like you would be like, I got this, da 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 da. Like I'm this, that, and the third, And because I am who I am, I'm just like I'm a people pleaser. I have to get out of that, but but I was like, okay, so what do you need me to how do you need me to ease your mind about this? Like, how do we go forward as a podiatry community to make sure that, you know, you're happy, I'm happy, everyone's presented well, you know, what do you need to make that happen?
Right.
And, you know, to a degree, I was trying to make everyone else happy. And then I kind of just was like, look, I did what I did. This is the training that I received. And this is what's been working for my patients and I. And the person who really ultimately matters is the patient. Like, if the patient is happy and I did my job, then your opinion literally does not matter, period. Right. You know? And that's kind of how I've been carrying myself throughout the show. I develop good relationships with my patients to the degree that, you know, if they're happy and they're satisfied, then that's all that matters. Right. So yeah, I mean, all of the other kind of background noise of what if, and why you, what's going on, it kind of fades to the background if the product is a success, you know?
Right. Okay. Makes a ton of sense, man. Ton of sense. Last question is, how can people learn more about you? Like, you know, if they don't already know and already see you on TV, right? How can, you know, share some links or some, you know, sites or whatever that people can follow you on. And if you have any shout outs, feel free to show the photos out as well.
Of course. Well, you can follow me on Instagram, Dr. Ebonie. And I also have a Facebook page, Dr. Ebonie Vincent, and my YouTube page, Dr. Ebonie, and my Twitter page. All of those things you can follow me on. I try to share throughout the week anything in my stories or posts that I do, just keep the content going if people are interested in learning or seeing or whatever. But yeah, and you can also watch our show. It's now on Wednesday nights at 10 on TLC. And if you have Discovery Plus, you can watch us on Discovery Plus. Season 1 is out of My Feet Are Killing Me. And we have First Steps, this online series that we had due to COVID. And then we have extra scenes called Footnotes, all on Discovery Plus. So if you haven't had a subscription to Discovery Plus, I would suggest it. Otherwise, watch us on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock on TLC. But shout outs to you. Shout out to you for inviting me on your show, for having this platform. Shout out to Hampton University and our mutual friend and big brother of mine, Jack Manning, because I have so many connections through Jack. It's ridiculous. And like, Jack has been such a instrumental portion of my success, I believe, because he used to be doing my photography. And he's the one that suggested, like, hey, you should do your hair like this. Said, oh, that's a cute style. And it happened to stick. So
right. Jack always has the inside wisdom.
Very amazing, great person. Like, I can't thank Jack enough. So
indeed. As you said, shout out to Jack. Also check out Flipped, man. Everything that Tyler Street is doing. Shout out to Law with you know, Divine Right Media, like just all of, you know, that whole pantheon of Hamptonians, man, right there. Like they're just, you know, I'm mad supportive and trying to help out.
It's a different kind of love at Hampton. We got so many talented people. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the well is just so deep. Agreed.
And for you, man, I celebrate your success, man. I like I said, I can't say that. I hate to say that I'm proud of you, because again, I feel like that means like I'm at a certain level. All I'm saying is I'm extremely and genuinely happy for you, man. And I hope it continues. I hope the wave just, you know, pushes you exactly right where you need to be. And you know, just keep rocking, man. Like you're killing it, man. And I love to see that. No problem. If you have any promo or anything that you want to share, feel free. Shoot it either me or the beat. You know how to reach me. So
I will. Yeah, I'll direct message you or whatever. Yeah.
And I can repost and just really, you know, like, it's nothing. Like I said, support is what I do, especially for people that you know resonate with me, and you're definitely one of those people. So, you know, however I can help, let me know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Thank you so much. We should get together at some point in person, since we're both in LA area.
Cool. We'll talk about it for sure.
Sounds cool.
All right. And like I said, that is the end. Do you have any last words, encouragement, anything, so forth, so?
No, just if you're experiencing foot problems, you definitely don't need to be embarrassed. Go see your local podiatrist or me, and be well, be happy, be healthy.
Okay, cool. So you already know what time it is, people. It's Donnie B got the beats. We live on the beat, and stay tuned. We have a lot of different talent coming up. I'm booked well through April, through May pretty much now too. But definitely some very top flight individuals coming up next, such as this sister right here. Stay tuned. Usually now we're on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Stay tuned for Two Flew West a little bit later on. We actually have Stormy Maya, myself, and Nicholas Baker. We're going to discuss her. She's directing her first. She's making her directorial debut, and she just dropped a single too. So it's just like so many people who are doing so many different things. But stay tuned. Stay masked up until we get through all of this. Stay in love. Stay blessed. It's easier to fight than to make up and stay together. So choose the latter. It's always better for everybody. So again, Donnie B got the beats, we live on the beat, and we out.
We out.
Peace.
Donnie B got the beats.